Hi, I'm Travis Monson with Once Upon a Board Game. Today I'm going to teach you how to play Skyjo. I think that's how you say it, but I'm not really sure. The designer is a German, so maybe it's Skyjo. I don't know. Most people just say Skyjo, so I'll go with that. This is a game that it says on the box that it plays from 2 to 8 players, ages 8 and up, and that the game's typically lasts 30 minutes. So it accommodates a pretty large play group, and it plays in even 8. I think you could easily play with kids younger than 8. It's a really easy, lightweight, very family-friendly card game that's really quick. This is actually a game that a good friend of ours had asked me to do a video doing a rules explanation, so that's why I'm covering this game. This is one that you typically can find on Amazon on really good sales for really cheap. So maybe you've already picked up a copy and just haven't ever learned how to play it. Maybe some friends of yours have it and they've recommended it, said that it's a game they like. In any case, it's a really fun little game. Let me teach you how it plays. Okay, as I said, I'm going to be teaching Skyjo or Skyjo, depending on how you want to say it. So I've got this set up for 2 players. I just want to give a quick little reminder. This does go from 2 to 8 players, and really all that comes in the box in the game is a deck of 150 cards and a scorecard, or a score pad rather. So there is a breakdown on the back of the rule book that gives information about how many of each type of cards there are. So you can see of the numbers 1 through 12 and the number -1, there's 10 each of those cards. There's 5 -2s and there's 15 zeros. Okay, so that's the breakdown. So there's 10 of every single card. The only differences are the 0 and the -2. So how does this work? How does a game work? You play a number of rounds until one player has reached or surpassed 100 points. And that's when the game is going to end. And at that point, when somebody goes over 100 or more, whoever has the lowest score is the one that wins the game. So this is a game kind of like golf. You want to have a lower score. A lower score is better. A lower score is what's going to win. So again, you play multiple rounds and you score each round until somebody passes 100 or more, and then the lowest score wins. So each round is played this way. You'll shuffle the deck of 150 cards, then you deal 12 cards to each player, okay? And you set them up in a 4x3 grid. So 3 rows of 4 cards. Once you've done that, you'll flip over the top card of the draw pile to make a discard pile, and then every player will get to choose 2 of their cards to flip them up. So I want to point out, when you deal the 12 cards, you do not look at them. You never look at them, okay? You leave them face down. You just put them in your 3x4 grid. So once you've dealt everybody their 12 cards and they've set it up and you've got the draw pile and the discard pile, everybody can flip over 2 of their cards. They choose, it doesn't matter which ones. So maybe I'll say, maybe this is me. I say I flip over this corner and this corner. Maybe Allie says, I'll flip over the 2 in the middle, right? You can flip over whatever cards you want. It doesn't matter, okay? Then the way that you determine who goes first is you say, who had a higher total of the cards that they flipped? My total would be 6 plus 0 for 6. Allie's total would be 12 plus 5 for 17. Allie has a higher number, so she'll go first. So you only add the number up to determine who goes first at the beginning of the game. Because on all subsequent rounds, whoever ended the previous round is going to go first for the following round. And I'll show what I mean, because I'll play through one round and show you how that works. If there's ever a tie, if we both would have had the same number, it doesn't specifically say any tiebreaker in the rule book, but I've seen maybe you look at who has the individual higher card. So maybe if we both had a total of 17 and Allie had a 12 to my 11, if those were our highest cards, then she would win that tiebreaker. Or you can choose another method, maybe like draw randomly into the deck. And look, I drew a 3. Allie says, I drew a 7. So she drew higher, so she would go first. So however you want to determine those tiebreakers, because all the rulebook says is whoever has a higher total of their 2 face-up cards goes first. So however you want to break that tie is up to you, because it doesn't specifically say in the rules. Okay, so Allie's going to go first. So how does a turn work? On your turn, you basically are going to have to draw a card, and you're going to end up discarding a card. And that's how your turn is going to work. And you always have a choice of drawing the top card from the discard pile or the top card from the draw pile. Okay, so let's just say Allie says, you know what? A 3 is a pretty low number. again, keep in mind, we want to have low scores. And every card, whatever number, that's how many points it's worth against you. Remember, because once somebody hits 100, that's what ends the game. So the lower the numbers you have, the better. So Allie says 3 is pretty low. I'll try that. So when you pick a card, again, it could be the discard pile. It could be the top card. Doesn't matter. But whatever card you draw, you get to choose any one of your 12 cards to replace it. So I could say, you know what? I don't like a 12. Maybe I want to get rid of that. But I might want to hold on to that for a reason I'll explain in a minute. Maybe I want to say, you know what? I'm going to take this card. Okay? You never get to look. You never get to look at the card, whatever card you're going to discard. This may be better than a 3. It may be like a -2, right? But you don't get to look ahead of time. You just choose a card and then you discard it and realize, oh, and I'm happy because that was a 9. So 3 is obviously less points than a 9. Okay? So I drew a card and I replaced one and then I discarded. So Allie's turn is over. Okay? Comes back to me. And I'm thinking, a 9 is not very good. I don't like that. I would rather draw and hopefully get a lower card. So I get to draw and I get a 4. Again, you can do something just as simple as this. You can replace a card you already know what it is. So maybe I'll do that because 4 is less points than 6. So maybe I want to do that. Again, I drew, I replaced the card, I discarded. Okay, that's my turn. So it's back to Allie. Allie says, I don't want a 6. I'm going to try something else. She says, oh, a 9. Okay, maybe I don't like a 9. Okay, the 9 is a lot of points. So if you draw a card and you don't want to put it in your grid, you can just discard it. But when you do that, you then have to flip face up one of your other cards. So maybe I'll say, I'll flip this one up to see what it is. Ooh, that's another 3. I'm really excited about that, and I'll explain why in just a minute. Okay, so again, if you draw a card and you don't like it, you can discard it, but then you have to flip over one of your cards. The round is going to end when any one player has all of their cards face up. Okay, so Allie already has 4 of her 12 cards face up. I only have 2. So she's closer to making the round end, if that makes sense. Okay, so she took her turn, so it's back to me. I took a 4. Ooh, I like a 4. And there's a special rule that if you, and again, you can play with or without the special rule. Okay, it says that it is a special rule, so you don't have to do it, but it makes it a lot more fun if you do. And the special rule is, if you ever manage to get all 3 numbers in a column, all 3 cards in a column with the same number, you get to discard all those cards and put them in the discard pile, and then it becomes 0 points against you, right? So I want to try and get 3 of the same number in the same row. That's why Allie was excited to get 2 3s. If she can get a 3 right here, she can discard all those cards and get rid of them all. So I want to put a 4, so I have to guess. Which do I think is going to be better? Maybe I'll do this one. Oh, it was a 0. Bummer. So this would have been a better card for me, but that's the one I chose, so I have to discard it. Allie says, ooh, thank you. I will take a 0. That's better than most any other card in the game, except for the -1 and 2. And she says, I don't want to put it here because I want to try and get a 3 there. Maybe 12s are cards that people are not going to want to hold on to. So she's thinking maybe she'll get lucky and see some 12s in the discard pile. So maybe she'll try and get 12s there to discard those. So maybe she'll just put a 0 right here. Oh, she's upset. That was a -1. That would have been a better card. But again, you never know. So I say, I will take that. Maybe I'll put it right here. A 10. Good. I don't like a 10. So that was a good move for me. Allie says she'll draw an 8. She doesn't really like it. 8 is not a good number. So she's going to discard. And remember, if the card that you draw you don't use, you have to flip something face up. So she'll say, I want to see what this one is. Ooh, and it's a 1. She's a little bummed because a 1 is a good number. But if she can get a 3 there, then she could get rid of all those cards. So at least she knows what it is. So that was her turn. She drew and discarded it. So since she didn't put it in her grid, she had to flip one over. So back to me, a 7. I don't really like a 7, so I'm going to discard it. I'm going to see what's this card right here. Ooh, that's a 1. So I'm not upset about that. That's a pretty good card. Back to Allie. She draws a 4. She'll say, you know what? I'll put a 4 right here. Oh, she's glad that that's better than a 10. I don't want a 10, so I'm going to draw a 9. I don't like a 9. I will discard it. And since I drew and discarded, I flip one face up. So I'll flip this one face up. A 3. Okay. Allie says she'll draw an 11. She doesn't like an 11, so she'll flip this one face up. Ooh, -1. She's happy about that. My turn. I take an 8. Maybe if I would have held on to that other 8, that would have been better. I don't like it, so I'm going to flip this over. A 5. Okay. Allie goes a 1. She does like a 1. You know what? Maybe she'll put a 1 right here. Ooh, and a 10. So she's glad to not get that one. I will draw a 0. I like that. Maybe I'll put a 0 right here. 2. I don't I wish I could have held on to that 2. That would be better. Allie says, you know what? I haven't seen many 12s. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this 12. So she'll keep the 2. I certainly don't want 12 points. That's the highest card in the game. Oh, 12. That doesn't help me. But since I didn't take the card, again, I have to flip one over. So let's see what this one is. Ooh, another 12. Allie's turn. She says a 4. Ooh, if she can get 4s, she might not want to get rid of the -1, but if she can get rid of it all, that would be better. So she'll put a 4 there. Okay. And again, she has 3 cards still face down. So the round is not over yet. I also have 3 cards face down. Back to me, an 11. I don't want an 11, so I will see what's this card. Ooh, -2. I like that one. This is a great row. -1, 0, -2. That's great. Allie's turn. She draws a -1. She's happy about that. She'll say, let's put it right here. Oh, a -2. She wishes she could have held on to that. I'll take that. Whoops. And I'll put it over here. Oh, a 2. Oh, that would have been a good card to hold on to. Allie says, you know what? I'll take a 2. That's a pretty low number. It's better than an 8. So right now, we're really worried because the round could end at any minute because we both just have 1 card left that's face down. Because as soon as you flip one over, as soon as you have to flip that card over, the round is going to end. And there's one very important rule. If you are the person that ends the round, if you are the one that flips over your last card first of all, you'll finish the round, but then also you have to have the lowest score at the table. Since you're the one that ended the round, you have to have the lowest score or your score gets doubled. Okay, the only time it wouldn't is if your total score is negative, because doubling a negative would make it a higher negative, which would be better because it would reduce your score from 100. So the game is basically penalizing you for going out without having the best score. So as long as it's a positive score, it's doubled if you're the one that ends the round and you don't have the lowest score. So right now I'm thinking I have 4, 5, 10, 14, 17, 29, -5. I have 24 points that I can see. And Allie only has, 4, 8, 10, 14, 20. Allie has 18. So I have a higher score than her. So I don't want to be the one to end it. Or I would have to score double those points. So I want to try and get rid of some of these other high cards, especially this 12. That's a bad one. So I think it was my turn. I can't remember. 10. Well, I don't want a 10, but if I discard it, I have to flip over a card. So a 10 is better than a 12. So I will do that. Okay, because I don't want to end the round yet because my score is higher than Allie's. So it comes to Allie. She doesn't want a 12, so she'll say, ooh, a 2. And you know what? This is one of those special cases. Even though there's -1, this whole row would be 2, 4, -1, 3 points. But if she gets rid of that, even though it gives me a chance to get a -1, she has 3 of the same number. And when you do that, she's excited because, first of all, she won't be giving me the -1. Because whenever you have 3 of the same number, like this, 3 2s, you discard it, and it goes on top of the card that you just switched. Okay? So now that -1 that she just flopped out, that's not available to me. I could take a 2, but I'm not going to be able to get that -1. And I say, you know what? A 2 is at least better than a 10. So maybe I'll do that. And it's back. And again, Allie just has 1 card. So she says a 7. And she thinks, oh, I don't want 7 points. But if she doesn't take it, if she discards it, she has to flip something over. So she thinks, should I take the chance? She says, you know what? Sure, I have a lower score than him. She's going to flip that over or discard it and flip over her last card, which is a 3. That's not too bad. Okay, so she went first. So we finished the round. I get my last turn. And I flip, oh, a 12. I don't want 12. There's nothing that could be worse than that. So I'm going to discard it. And at this point, everyone has to flip over everything. And I would have to flip over one anyway, since I didn't keep the card that I flipped. But at this point, with the round over, everyone who still has cards face down, they flip them all face up. And then you add up all the scores. Okay? And so, again, I have 5. 4 plus 1 is 5, so that's 10. 3 and 2 is 5. 7 and 4 is 11. -1 is 10. So 10 and 10 and 5. So 25 -2 -2. So 25 -2 is 23. -2 is 21. And then 0. So I have 21 points. So I would say in round 1, Travis has 25 points. And Allie has, let's see, 4 and 4 is 8. And 1 and 1, that's 2 more, that's 10. 3, 6, 9. So that's 19. -1 is 18. So she had 18. So she was less than, and of course 0 is 0. 18 is less than 25, so she doesn't have to double her score. But let's just say, for instance, if I was the one that had ended the round, I had more than her. I didn't have the lowest score. Even if you tie, you still have to double your score. You have to have the lowest score of everybody at the table if you're the one that ends the round. Otherwise, you double your score. So if I would have been the one to go out, I would have 50 points instead of just 25. So I'd already be halfway to losing the game. Okay, here's an example from the rulebook that shows scoring at the end of a round. This is just to help illustrate what I was just talking about. You can see player A, who just so happened to be the one who went out of their cards first. So, they are the ones that effectively triggered the end of the round. They ended up, and when you add up their cards, they ended up with 10 points. Player B had 24 points. Player C also had 10 points. So player A and player C tied for the low score. However, the rules state you have to be the sole low score. So a tie does not qualify you as the lowest score. As the player that went out, since A didn't have the lowest score, they had to double their score. So instead of 10, they scored 20 points. So it's really important to remember that if you're the one that goes out, you need to be the sole low score at the table, or you'll double your score. Again, unless you ended up the round with negative points. You wouldn't double that because that would be more beneficial for you. You would double your positive points if you didn't have the low score. All right, that's how a round works, okay? So once you're done, you'll collect all the cards, all the discards, and the draw pile, okay? You'll shuffle everything together, mix it all up, deal out 12 cards again to each person, then you flip over 2, and instead of adding them together to see who has a higher number, the person that goes first is the one who ended the round. Allie is the one who went out. She's the one who ended the round. So she's going to go first in this next round. Okay? So that's how it works. Again, so you'll keep playing like that until somebody has hit 100 points or more, finish the round, add up the scores, and whoever has the lowest score is the winner. So that's Skyjo. As you can see, the rounds are super quick. Draw a card, either the discard pile or the draw pile. Replace one in your grid, or if you don't replace one, then flip over a new card, for have a discard of something. And the round ends when somebody flips over all their cards. Super easy, super quick. And as you can see, really easy to learn and play. The rounds are quick, and it's fun because there's a little bit of that press your luck. Do I want to hold on to those higher numbers thinking that somebody's going to discard it so I can zero out that column? Or do I just want to try and get rid of all the high cards and get low numbers? Do I want to try and push my luck and go out first, hoping that I have the low score? Or do I want to, not do that to avoid having to possibly double my score? So it has just enough, strategic decisions to give you a little bit of, something to think about on your turn, but just quick enough and light enough that it's really easy that even young kids can play with families. So really fun little game. Hopefully this teaches you how to play. Hopefully you've understood it. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. If you're happy with this, give me a like and a subscribe. That'd be great. But again, Travis Montz with Once Upon a Board Game. Let me know if there's something else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best. Thanks.